Welcome. You are on the right channel. My name is Ada, and today, I want to tell you a story. It's not just any story, it's my story. A story of love, a promise, and something I wish I never agreed to. Please listen, and don't make the mistake I made. I met him when I was just a teenager in secondary school. His name was Chuka. He wasn't just popular, he was special. The type of boy every girl secretly wanted. Tall, dark, with this easy smile that could melt anyone's anger. He was funny too. You could be having the worst day, and one word from Chuka would make you laugh. But most of all, he was smart, brilliant, the kind of boy that teachers praised and parents admired. But of all the girls in our school, he chose me. Me, Quiet Ada. At first, it didn't feel real. I thought maybe it was a prank or just a short crush. But he kept coming back, kept talking to me, waiting for me after school, walking me home. Before long, we became best friends. Then, boyfriend and girlfriend. People used to call us the perfect couple. Even the teachers knew we were inseparable. We'd sit under the mango tree after school, talk about life, and laugh for hours. We promised each other everything. At the back of my school notebook, I wrote, Chuka plus Ada equals forever. I believed it with all my heart. When we finished secondary school and both got admission into different universities, I was scared our love wouldn't survive the distance. But it did. We talked every morning. He'd send me voice notes every night. During holidays, we'd meet, either in my hometown or his. We still laughed. We still held hands. We still dreamed. We talked about our wedding like it was next week. We picked names for our future kids. He'd whisper, Ada, nothing, and I mean nothing, can ever come between us. And I believed him. Until the day everything changed. It was a hot afternoon. Chuka came to visit me in school. We sat outside under a tree, sharing a bottle of malt and suya. But he was unusually quiet. His eyes looked far away, and his smile didn't quite reach his face. I asked him what's wrong. He hesitated, then said something I'll never forget. Ada, I'm scared. Scared of what? I asked, already feeling a strange chill. He looked into my eyes and said, what if someone comes and takes you from me? What if another guy makes you forget about me? I laughed. Chuka, stop it. You know I love you. But he didn't laugh with me. Instead, he opened his bag and brought out a small razor blade. At first, I was confused. I thought maybe it was a joke. Then he brought out a small metal bowl, like the type used to burn incense. And then, with a serious voice, he said, let's prove our love. Let's do a blood covenant. My heart dropped. I had heard stories. Some girls in our hostel had joked about it. Some had even warned each other never to agree. But now it wasn't just a story. It was happening to me. I wanted to say no. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. I was scared to lose him. Scared he would think I didn't love him enough. Scared he might walk away. So I nodded. He took my hand gently, kissed it, then cut my finger. The pain was sharp, but I didn't scream. Then he cut his own finger. We both let the blood drip into the bowl. He held my hand, and we looked into each other's eyes. Together, we said the words, we promise, no matter what happens, we will never leave each other. If we do, may the blood speak. When it was done, he smiled and hugged me. I remember feeling a strange mix of emotions, fear, love, excitement, and something I couldn't explain. I thought it was romantic. I thought we had done something powerful. I didn't know we had just done something deadly. After that day, things were good. For a while. We still talked, still visited, still planned. But slowly, Chuka began to change. His messages became shorter. The calls became less frequent. He stopped saying, I love you as much. Then he began missing our holidays. Excuses, family matters, project stress, no transport money. And then one day I saw it. A photo of Chuka and another girl. On her birthday, he had posted it himself. "Happy birthday, baby," the caption read. My heart shattered. I confronted him. I called, shaking with anger and pain. "Who is she?" I asked. He sighed and said, "Ada, don't make this a big deal. Things change. People grow apart." "People grow apart?" I repeated, my voice breaking. "We made a covenant, Chuka. We promised." There was silence on the phone. Then he said something I will never forget. "That was just teenage drama. We were kids. That blood thing doesn't mean anything." He hung up. That night, I cried until my voice was gone. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I felt like I had been stabbed in the heart and left to bleed. Days passed, then weeks. I tried to move on. I tried to focus on my exams. But every time I saw a couple walking hand in hand, I thought of us. Every time I saw a razor blade, my stomach turned. I thought it was over. Until one Sunday evening, I got a call from a friend who lived in Chuka's area. "Ada, have you heard what's happening with Chuka?" My heart dropped. "What do you mean?" "He's been acting strange. He walks around barefoot. He talks to himself. He sings loudly about love and betrayal in the middle of the street." I froze. "What? That's not possible. You need to see it for yourself. It's like he's no longer normal." I didn't want to believe it. I told myself it was just rumors. But a week later, my friend sent me a video. In it, Chuka was walking on a dusty road, shirtless, his trousers torn. His eyes were wide, and he was laughing, then crying, then singing a love song we used to sing together. The video ended with him pointing to the sky, shouting. I didn't mean to break it. I didn't know she'd hold me forever. My hand shook as I held the phone. I watched the video over and over, hoping it was fake. But it wasn't. Chuka had gone mad. His family took him to churches, prayer houses, hospitals. They said it was jazz. Some said he had been cursed by a jealous girl. Others whispered that maybe he offended someone spiritual. But I knew. It was the blood. That covenant. That foolish promise we made when we were young. We thought it was romantic. But the spirits heard it. And when he broke it, something began to chase him. He had opened a door we couldn't close. I couldn't breathe for days after that. I had nightmares. In my dreams, Chuka would appear, bloody and screaming, "Set me free, Ada. Set me free." I felt guilt, shame, confusion. One afternoon, I traveled to his town. I needed to see him with my own eyes. He was sitting by the roadside, covered in dust. Children threw stones at him, laughing. He didn't care. He was humming a song. Then suddenly he stood up, looked around, and his eyes met mine. Everything stopped. He whispered, "Ada." Then he ran to me. The people around tried to stop him, thinking he would hurt me, but he only fell to his knees. He grabbed my dress, tears falling from his eyes. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't know it would hold me. I didn't know they won't let me go." I didn't know what to say. My heart broke into pieces. Then, like a switch, his face changed. His eyes widened. He screamed, "Don't touch me," and ran into the bush. That was the last time I saw him up close. I left that town shaking. I couldn't stop crying. I needed help. When I got home, I told my mother everything. She didn't shout. She didn't blame me. She just said, "We must pray." She took me to a woman of God, an old prophetess known for deep spiritual matters. The woman listened quietly, then said, "Child, blood speaks. And yours has been speaking since that day. But the one who made blood can silence it." That night began my journey to freedom. We fasted. We prayed. For 7 days and nights, I cried to God to break whatever tie was holding us. Every night I said, "I break this covenant. I release myself. I release Chuka. The blood will no longer speak. I am free." On the 7th night, I had a dream. Chuka was in a dark room, chained from head to toe. I walked in holding a candle. As I stepped closer, the chains began to fall. I woke up crying. The next morning, I got a call. Chuka was calm. He had stopped shouting. He wasn't healed completely, but the madness had reduced. And I knew the healing had begun. But the story was not yet over. They say when you break a covenant, especially one made with blood, the scars don't disappear immediately. They fade slowly, like smoke that lingers long after the fire is gone. Even though the prophetess had prayed with me, even though Chuka's madness began to calm down, I could feel something was still not right. I couldn't sleep well. I'd wake up gasping for air. Sometimes I'd hear whispers in the middle of the night, voices saying my name. Ada, Ada, low and cold, like a breeze passing through a graveyard. I would switch on my light, open my Bible, and pray until morning. Then there were the dreams. In one, I saw myself in a wedding gown, walking down an empty church aisle. But when I got to the altar, there was no groom, only the bowl of blood we had once shared. I'd scream, but no sound would come out. Then I'd wake up in tears. Every Sunday I went to church. I joined the prayer band. I fasted. I prayed. I begged God for mercy for a fresh start. My heart wanted to forget, to bury everything in the past. But the past had a strange way of holding on, like a shadow on my back. One day, during choir practice, I noticed something strange. A new guy had joined the church. His name was Emanike. He was gentle, God-fearing, and always smiling. After a few weeks, he started helping me carry my books, walk me to the bus stop, call to check on me. Slowly, he became part of my daily life. At first, I was scared. I didn't want love again. I didn't trust it. My heart was like a glass cup with too many cracks. But Emanike was patient. He never rushed me. He never demanded. He just stayed, like a warm presence reminding me that maybe, just maybe, love wasn't always a trap. One evening, he sat beside me and said, "Ada, I like you. I want to be close to you. But I feel like there's something you're not telling me." I froze. He was right. I had never told him about Chuka, about the covenant, about the madness, about the blood. Part of me wanted to run, to hide, to protect him from the darkness of my past. But something in me whispered, "Tell him. If he runs, then let him run now." So I told him everything, from the first cut to the last scream. When I finished, I expected him to stand up and say goodbye. But he didn't. Instead, he took my hand gently and said, "Thank you for telling me. You're not cursed. You were young. You were in love. But you are not your mistake, Ada. You are more." Tears rolled down my cheeks. That night, for the first time in a long while, I slept like a baby. But peace is a journey, not a destination. 1 week later, something strange happened. My younger brother, Nonso, woke up crying in the middle of the night. He said he saw a man standing at the foot of his bed, barefoot, with wild eyes and blood on his shirt. When I asked him what the man looked like, he pointed to my phone, to a picture of Chuka. My body went cold. I rushed to the prophetess the next morning. She listened, her face calm but firm. She said, "There's still a door open. You may have prayed. You may have broken the tie. But there is one more thing to do." I asked her what. She said, "Return the blood." What does that mean? I asked, confused and afraid. You poured your blood together, a covenant of unity. Now you must pour it out again, separately. You must return it to the earth, and let the earth bear witness. She handed me a small white bottle filled with anointing oil. Fast for 3 days, then go to the exact place where you made the covenant. Pour this oil there. Declare with your mouth that it is over, that every tie, every spirit, every shadow must go. I didn't want to go back. That place held memories I had buried deep, but I knew I had to. On the 3rd day, I traveled to the town where it all began. I stood at the backyard of Chuka's uncle's house, the place where we cut our fingers, the spot where our blood dripped into the bowl. The air was still. The sun had just begun to set. I knelt down, opened the oil, and poured it gently onto the ground. With trembling lips, I said, "Father, today I return what does not belong to me. I reject every blood covenant made in ignorance. I renounce every vow that was not of you. I break every chain. I close every door. I declare I am free. Chuka is free. Our blood is no longer bound. In Jesus' name." The moment I said those words, a gust of wind swept across the yard. The trees shook, and I felt something leave me. Something heavy I didn't know I had been carrying. I stood up and walked away. Lighter. Free. That night I had no dreams. No whispers. Only silence. And peace. The next day I got a message. Chuka had started speaking normally. He recognized his mother. He ate real food. He no longer talked to shadows. It wasn't a full miracle, but it was a beginning, a new chapter, for both of us. I thought that once the blood was returned to the earth, once I declared my freedom and Chuka started speaking normally, everything would be fine. I thought the past would stay in the past, but some flames don't die just because you stop feeding them. Some spirits test your resolve even harder when you start to walk away. It began with the phone call. I was in the kitchen with my mother, helping her slice vegetables for Sunday stew, when my phone rang. The number was unknown. I picked up. "Hello," I said. There was a pause, then a deep voice, shaky and hoarse. "Ada, forgive me." I froze. That voice, I could never forget it. "Chuka," I whispered. Silence. Then, "I'm sorry for everything." I didn't know what I was doing. I was lost. But now I see things clearly. I remember the covenant. I remember the bowl. I've been having dreams too, Ada. Dreams about you. My chest tightened. "I didn't call to trouble you," he continued. "I called to say I release you. I release your name, your blood, your future. I messed up. I broke the vow first, and I deserve whatever came with it. But you don't. I just needed to say that. That's all." He ended the call before I could speak. I stood still for several minutes, the knife in my hand, tears in my eyes. That night I prayed. But this time, not for deliverance. I prayed for Chuka, for healing, for peace. And somehow in my heart, I knew something had shifted. But just when I began to feel safe, another storm rose. It started with nightmares again, but they weren't about Chuka anymore. This time I saw fire. I saw a crowd chasing me. I was running barefoot, screaming, and behind me a voice kept yelling, "You betrayed us. You broke the vow." Then I would wake up with bruises on my arm. Real bruises. I showed Emanike. He was worried. He prayed with me, fasted with me, but the dreams didn't stop until I received another visit. One evening, as I was coming back from fellowship, I saw an old woman sitting outside my compound gate. She was dressed in white, her head tied in a scarf, her eyes gray but sharp. I'd never seen her before. "Good evening, Ma," I said politely. She didn't answer. Instead, she stood up slowly and said, "You return the blood, but have you returned the vow?" I blinked. "I don't understand." She stepped closer. "When two people swear with blood, the blood speaks. But so do the words. You promised. You vowed. And words are seeds. You must uproot them." Before I could ask anything else, she walked away and disappeared into the street corner. I rushed to my pastor the next morning. He listened carefully, then nodded. "She's right," he said. "You've returned the blood, but you must also break the spoken covenant. That vow was made with your own lips. That's why the torment continues." So that night I stood before my mirror, lit a candle, opened my Bible, and spoke with boldness. I revoke every vow made from my mouth that was not of God. I cancel every declaration I made in ignorance. I break the words, the promises, the soul ties. I remove my name from that altar. My spirit, soul, and body are no longer bound to Chuka. I belong to God. I am free. The candle flickered wildly, then calmed. From that day on, the nightmare stopped. No more bruises, no more fire, just peace. I smiled again, laughed again, and something else happened. Emanite proposed. He got down on one knee after church one Sunday with a small ring and trembling hands and asked me to be his wife. I cried, not because of the proposal, but because I never thought I'd ever be free enough to love again, fully. But I am. We fixed the date, started planning, told both families, and then just a week before our introduction, I got the final call. It was from Chuka's mother. She said, "Ada, my son is getting married." I gasped. To who? To a girl from his church. He met her during recovery. They're moving far away, starting fresh. I didn't know whether to cry or shout or smile, but I felt a gentle wave in my heart, a wave of closure, a sign that it was truly over. Two broken people, once bound by blood, now free. Free to choose, free to love, free to live. Welcome back, my friend. If you've stayed with me this far, thank you. I don't know who you are or where you're listening from, but maybe this story was meant for you. Maybe you needed to hear what I'm about to say next. Because even though I survived the storm, I want you to understand something important. Love is powerful, but when mixed with fear and ignorance, it can become dangerous. Chuka and I were just teenagers, young, in love, and naive. We thought forever was something we could seal with blood. We thought words spoken in excitement were harmless, but every covenant has a consequence. Every promise carries a weight. And sometimes the soul doesn't forget what the mouth has said. After the call from Chuka's mother, I spent a long time alone that night. I sat on the floor of my room, in the dark, staring at the candlelight dancing across my wall. It felt like the last page of a painful chapter was finally closing. I whispered a prayer, not just for myself, but for every girl like me. Every girl who gave too much, who loved too deeply, who made promises to boys who were just as lost as they were. I thought about the nights I cried into my pillow, scared that I'd be haunted forever. I remembered the look in Chuka's eyes the last time I saw him, the regret, the confusion, the brokenness. And I knew we had both suffered for something we didn't fully understand. But now we were free. The day of my traditional marriage arrived like sunlight after a long rainy season. The compound was filled with music, laughter, and colors. Women danced, men drank palm wine, and children ran around in excitement. I wore a red lace wrapper with coral beads around my neck and wrists. My mother wiped tears from her eyes as she helped me dress. "You fought battles most women your age don't even dream of," she said. "But look at you now. You're shining." Emanite's people arrived with gifts, yams, drinks, wrappers, and a chest filled with clothes and perfumes. His smile lit up the whole space when he saw me. And for the first time in a very long time, I didn't feel afraid. I felt chosen. Later that evening, during the ceremony, I was asked to search for my husband among the crowd and give him a cup of palm wine. It's part of our culture. The bride must identify her groom and serve him to show her consent. I walked slowly through the crowd, carrying the calabash, smiling at the uncles pretending to be the groom. I saw Emanite sitting quietly under a tree, watching me. When I reached him, I knelt and offered him the cup. He took it, drank, and held my hand. "You're the strongest woman I know," he whispered. And in that moment, something inside me healed completely. But here's where the story becomes yours. Because someone out there, maybe you, might be standing at the edge of a similar mistake. You might think that giving your blood, your soul, or your body is how to prove love. Please listen. Love doesn't demand blood to survive. Love doesn't need secrets or rituals or dangerous promises to stay alive. The kind of love that lasts, the one that gives peace, is patient, pure, and never manipulative. If someone ever tells you to prove your love in a way that makes you uncomfortable, walk away. If you've already done something like I did, know this, there's a way out. It won't be easy. It might take time, but you can be free. God hears, God heals, and your future is not ruined. I almost lost mine. I almost died emotionally and spiritually because of a decision I made at 16. But grace pulled me back. And now I'm telling my story not to scare you, but to warn you, to save you. After my wedding, Emanike and I moved to a different city. We built a quiet life. He supported my dreams. I went back to school. I started counseling young girls who were confused, abused, or trapped in toxic love. And one day I received a message. It was from Chuka. He sent a photo. He was standing with his wife and a little baby boy in his arms. The caption said, "Thank you for praying for me. I'm finally whole." I smiled because we both survived. I thought I had moved on. Honestly, I tried. After everything that happened with Chuka, the blood covenant, the secrets, the pain, I just wanted peace. Emanike, my husband, was patient and kind. He loved me, even when I couldn't fully love myself. I buried my past deep inside, where no one could reach it, not even me. Then one evening, out of nowhere, I got a message. It was from Chuka. My heart stopped. It wasn't a long message, just a photo. He was standing in front of a supermarket with a woman, his wife, I assumed. In his arms, a baby boy, round-faced and smiling. For a moment, I froze. So he had moved on. He was happy. He had a child. Something in me cracked, but I pushed it away. I whispered, "God, please, help me forget too." I deleted the photo. But that photo was just the beginning. Weeks later, I heard stories. Chuka had been seen near that same supermarket, chatting with his wife. People said he looked normal, until suddenly, he screamed out loud in the middle of the road. "Blood! Blood! Please, I'm sorry." Before anyone could understand what was happening, he ran straight into the path of a moving car. He survived, but he never came back the same. They said he stopped talking, that he would stare at the ceiling for hours. And worse, he started calling my name in his sleep. Every night. I wanted to pretend it had nothing to do with me. But deep inside, I knew. I felt it in my bones. That blood we shared was still speaking. As for me, I was carrying another pregnancy, my third. This time, I prayed like never before. I begged God. I fasted. I cried into my pillow every night. But just like before, I woke up one morning soaked in blood. Another miscarriage. Another piece of me gone. Emanike tried to be strong, but one day he asked me, "Ada, is there something you're not telling me?" I couldn't answer. I just looked at him. And in that silence, he knew. He didn't say another word. He left quietly the next morning. No note, no message, just his absence. And that was how I lost everything. My child, my marriage, my peace. To make it worse, I later heard that Chuka's son, his beautiful baby, was diagnosed with a strange blood disorder. One that swallowed their money constantly. A sickness without cure. Was it punishment? Was it the blood covenant fighting back? I didn't know. All I knew was that I was broken. One cold, rainy afternoon, I found myself sitting on the floor of a small prayer house. My head was bare. My legs were weak. I had no words left to pray. The prophetess sat quietly in front of me, dressed in white. Her eyes were shut, but I knew she could see right through me. I made a mistake, I whispered. I just wanted him to love me. She opened her eyes and looked at me gently but firmly. Blood is not water, she said. It speaks and it remembers, but the blood of Jesus speaks louder. Don't give up. Only God's mercy can break what was sealed in darkness. Then she placed her hands on my head and prayed. A prayer that sounded like thunder but felt like healing. Before I left, she gave me one final warning. From today, no more losses. But never again trade your soul for a moment of love. Covenant is not romance, it is war. And with that, I left. Still wounded, still healing, but with hope. Love doesn't demand blood to survive. Love doesn't need secrets or rituals or dangerous promises to stay alive. The kind of love that lasts, the one that gives peace, is patient, pure, and never manipulative. If someone ever tells you to prove your love in a way that makes you uncomfortable, walk away. If you've already done something like I did, know this, there's a way out. It won't be easy. It might take time, but you can be free. God hears, God heals, and your future is not ruined. I almost lost mine. I almost died emotionally and spiritually because of a decision I made at 16. But grace pulled me back. And now I'm telling my story not to scare you, but to warn you, to save you. Thank you for listening. Stay safe, and please don't make the mistake I made.